I think both of those markets are interesting, and I'm going to repeat my theory on that. My theory, so I think there's a school of thought that says the NFL is changing how they play defense. They're playing more zone, they're playing more too high. When you play more too high, you need better bodies up front to play the run. Therefore, defensive tackles are more valuable than ever. And when you're playing more off coverage, quarters, cover two, that 2-4-6 scheme, your quarterbacks are inherently less valuable. They're not playing as much man coverage. You're relying on your linebackers and safeties in coverage as much as your corners. So the corner market, only having Jair Alexander number one at 21 million, they only have three guys over 20. So that's the NFL scheme theory on why the market is maybe suppressed a little bit at corner relative to where it was and relative to other positions. My question is, who on this cornerback list deserves $25 million a year? Who deserves, that to be the highest paid corner in the NFL? I don't think it's clear. And part of it goes to what we always talk about, Sam. If you use PFF data and coverage stats, or anyone's coverage stats really, they fluctuate. Cornerback production fluctuates. Jair Alexander has had shutdown years. He's had other years where he's gotten beaten. Denzel Ward, same thing. Jalen Ramsey's been the most consistent, but he's getting a little bit older. Marlon Humphrey, Marshawn Lattimore, similar. There's just some inconsistency. So you're paying corner for this theoretical level of play, but the results don't always match what you're paying them. And maybe they are asking a little bit less of corners in today's NFL than they did previously. But when you mentioned Sauce Gardner, and I'll throw Patrick Surtain in there, and maybe Devin Witherspoon in a couple of years. I feel like the next wave of corners are just better, and
Right.
that eventually they're going. Sauce Gardner is going to be making 25 plus or whatever the market is at that point. He's going to reset it, or at least he should, pretty soon.
I think we're missing Jalen Johnson from this list, by the way.
Oh yeah, he should be
obviously
up there.
signed, but I think he's at 19 a year, so he's kind of at the top end of that market. The question I was going to ask, though, if you throw out that top 10 again and you look at the list, how many of those guys are coming off a good year? Like, I think the volatility that we talk about all the time at cornerback is a big part of this. If you get an offensive tackle or a wide receiver or whatever, you can be pretty confident that the next year he's going to be just as good as he was the previous year. But Jair Alexander signed a top-of-the-market cornerback deal, and he hasn't backed that up yet. Jalen Ramsey, same kind of thing. Like, he's been an elite top-of-the-market cornerback, but not necessarily last year. Denzel Ward, Marlon Humphrey. Like, a lot of these guys are not coming off a great year, and I think that inherent volatility is maybe scaring teams a little bit. And I think you're right that it's just who's around and who's signing is a big part of it, and maybe the next wave bumps this money up. But I do wonder if that volatility in coverage as a concept is why generally defensive backs have lagged behind these other positions that are all connected to the pass game.